perfect for today. I'm probably receiving. Hi, guys.
Hello, everybody. We're just getting right into the recording right away. So welcome to another Wednesday Heal the Unicorn podcast with Bethany Briggs and myself, Yana Kasperczak. And we are going to be doing more of specific topics that will help you to develop some of your skills this month of March. Starting off with the first skill. And let me quickly open up my description because I already forgot exactly how I wrote it out. But the most undervalued of the gifts you were born with, and how to strengthen it. So today's gift that we're going to be talking about is on there saying #intuition. This is where I'm like, oh, I made a hashtag little what do you call it? I don't know, out of cardboard. Like a piece you can show. Maybe next time I'll be using it. But I find the conversations that like hashtag intuition when people insert hashtag in the conversation. I find it a little humorous. Because this is how we are communicating on the social media. So we can do the same thing through the video. So #intuition, guys. Today we're focusing on that.
Intuition.
Right? Like, let's start with, and this is where now we're both going to be embracing our unicorn self and bringing those weird unicorns out there as well. And we're going to talk more. This is not a podcast for kids. Because we do kind of swear once in a while. So that's why when I put it onto YouTube, it does not go for kids. Because, I mean, some would categorize me as a bad mom. Bethany, you can listen to a message I sent you about that. You'll be like, yep. But I'm just a mom who wants to live. And let's talk about what the hell is intuition. Everybody talks about it, but they talk about it in a way that it's such an elusive thing that I don't know if I have it. We're here to tell you that you have it, you're born with it. Every human being is born with intuition. So, Bethany, tell everyone what intuition is.
Intuition. I love intuition. It is transformed. Like, once I started trusting my intuition, I just felt like my life has transformed and really grown and expanded. But what is intuition? Intuition is part of your senses. You may not think of it that way, but it is part of your senses. It's your internal compass. It's your guide. It's your instinctive feelings. It's your spiritual insight and communication. It bridges the gap from your subconscious to your conscious. It's a beacon, a flag, or an indicator to pay attention, to honor your truths, follow your heart, and be your true authentic self. It's a gift we're born with, as you've already said, Yana. And it's your inner knowing. It's also that gut feeling. So that's what intuition means to me personally. But that's
a very great explanation, because that's what intuition is.
Thank you. Yeah. Intuition is so much fun. And also, so you know how I do the moon cycles, everyone. So today's the new moon. Now, and I got a moon on my shirt. I got alien the moon.
New moon would be like no moon, right?
Yeah, it's dark. So right now is like, if you follow the moon cycles for any kind of personal growth type stuff like I do, because I use it as that blueprint. So with the new moon, you're planting your seeds, you're putting your intention, you're putting your why for what you want to do for the month. And it's dark. It's the darkest time of the month. And that just means you go within, you dig deep, you find those answers, you start manifesting what you want. And that goes into intuition too, because when you're doing like manifesting and you're putting your intention in and you're bringing up all the stuff you want to work on, you got to get in touch with your intuition to figure out what you want to work on. So that's what I love about, and doing the moon cycles has definitely increased my intuition, because it's that inner guide, my inner knowing. It's like, the way I like to describe intuition is if you have it, like you're going to go do something and it's like a quick yes, no type thing. Cause it's never going to be like a frilly, like, I don't know, like maybe. It's going to be yes or no. It's going to be a quick answer, straight to the point. And that's that first voice you hear to be your intuition, if you don't know what it is. Because some people, I feel like, well, but what if it's my inner critic or gremlin, or what if it's my ego? How do you differentiate it? You'll know, like, because the intuition is going to all have everything that's going to benefit you. It's going to be about your growth, your expansion. It's not going to have any kind of like selfishness to it. It's not going to have like all those ego-based things to it. It's going to help you, and it's going to be more connected to your higher self as well. But really, it's like what they say, trust your gut feeling, trust your intuition.
Yeah. So now let's start with the gut feeling. So one of the things that I have learned is that many people, they talk about intuition residing in your heart, right? That's where the intuition is. But from what I'm learning is that intuition resides in different parts of the body with different people. So for some people, it's in their spleen. For others, it's in their liver. For others, it's in their heart. Hi, Ethan, talking to me from the ceiling. And then for other people, like myself, it's in my second chakra. So it's the gut. And so the first thing I want everyone to start paying attention to is identifying what intuition feels like to you, and testing it out and playing with it, and then identifying where it is in your body. Because then you can sit with that part of the body and talk to it, which means that you're talking directly into your intuition, and you're connecting directly with your intuition, knowing where it is. You don't have to play hide and seek anymore. You can speak directly to it and look at it right in the eyes, so to speak, right? And how do you practice your intuition? How do you try to understand what is intuition, what is ego, what is some other voices that you have in there, like the fear-based voices? So starting in the place of where you feel the most comfortable. So for many people, it will be, for example, in the conversation where you had an intuitive hit, or a thought that came to mind that you felt like this person, needed to hear. Or maybe practicing even with names. You can do that, like playing a game with your friends, intuitive game. You think of a name and I will try to guess it. So you intuitively trying to connect and think of what is Bethany thinking about, right? What name is she thinking about? And practicing like that, like even the cards, we've seen those in usually it's in the movies where you're trying to develop psychic abilities, where you have a card. Tell me what shape is on this card. And the person is trying to use your intuition and tell you what is on that card. That is another way how you can strengthen your intuition, right? At the same time, we're not here to be pros at this card game and knowing each and every one, because that can also hurt the ego more. But for me, I use it a lot in conversations, especially in like a mentor conversation or consulting conversation, sometimes in a coaching conversation, where a thought comes up and I ask for permission to share my thought, to then also, can you give me feedback? Because I'm trying to strengthen my intuition, trying to work and identify if it's really working or not. So that way the person is then, oh, okay, well, this is a fun game. Let's do it. And then you share your intuitive hit, and then they tell you, no, you're way off, or, oh my God, how did you know? Right?
Yeah.
And it could be anything really. So
right. one of my favorite ways to strengthen intuition, meditation, sitting in stillness and silence, and also mindfulness practices has helped as well, like other mindfulness practices like breath work, yoga, and especially because the yoga I lead is intuitive flow yoga. So when I do that, I'm just kind of letting my body move. I just listen. It's like, okay, do this one next, do this pose next, do this pose next. And I listen to my intuition to do those poses. And then at the end of it, I'm like, whoa, that was an amazing like yoga session. And on my yoga session today, I had one of my friends join me, and she was like, that was like, that helped my back, like just really like happy about it. And I was like, yes, like it made me happy, but it also strengthened my intuition, knowing to just trust it and follow it.
Yeah, and listening, like intuition is listening, really. That's what it is, listening. And then at the end of the day, or at the end of listening, you can choose which way you want to approach it. You want to ignore it or you want to do it. So as you're talking about like the intuitive yoga, I do intuitive meditation sessions with myself. And what does that mean, right? Or what does that look like? It's hard to tell you what that looks like because it looks different every day. Because some days I'm like, I know I need to, like, not need to, but I need to sit down and just sit still and be and tune into myself. Other days I know I'm doing my meditation and I'm doing like moving my body because my body just needs to move. And it's like, well, why? I don't know. And I find myself even judging myself in that moment. I'm like, as if people were watching me and saying, oh my God, you're so weird, you're so odd. Who moves like that? This is not meditation. And for me, this is intuitively what I needed to work through. Because meditation for me is, what do I want to improve on? What do I want to or need to work on? What's next type of a thing, right? So if I find myself and I come downstairs, I'm like, I'm just gonna sit down and I don't have a plan of what I'm gonna do. And I just I find myself reaching for the notebook to jot some thoughts or ideas or feelings or emotions, or I'll record a little video for myself, or I'll just sit with my cacao and just feel it. It's really whatever I feel called to do. That's another way I would express it. I feel like it's a calling. It's a calling in a way that I just find myself doing the thing without really questioning it. And then if I do, like I said, this happened. I did this last week where I was observing myself, harshly judging myself, and it comes from a place of social media. Because social media is full of bullies that you'll post something that you're really proud of doing, and people have a magical power of turning that into shit. Pardon my language, but turning that into something that's like, oh my God, I can't believe that something that I was doing that was so good and so helpful, that you turned that around and you made me feel horrible about it. And that can be done in many different ways and many different experiences. Those of you that maybe I triggered and you haven't experienced that you went through, that social media kind of took what you enjoy and found a way to turn it into shit or make you feel a little crappy about it. I would love to know what that is. Share it with me and with us. And if you are still working through or haven't started working through it, that's another conversation that we can have. I do offer even one-time sessions that people want. Not everybody wants to hire a coach over time. If you want a one-time session, that's more of a conversation we can have one-on-one. It's not on my website or anywhere. So with things like that, I take the time to really sit with it. And that was a day that I ended up not doing too much work. I did the work that's most important, that's on myself. And that's the most important work that any business owner can ever do and will ever do. I'm just saying, but I'm also not just saying, because this is what every successful business owner, entrepreneur will tell you. that you are the most important. So I realize, I'm like, pardon my language, but fuck. This is going to be one of those days that I'm going to uncover a lot, because this is my spiritual awakening day, as I like to call them now. And I call them that for myself. I don't know if that's actually what the majority of the people refer to, but for me, my spiritual awakening is when I do a lot of deep work and bring up all the stuff that now I'm now aware of, and let's get to work now with this. And that was my day. So my meditation led me into a different direction. My intuition essentially led me into this meditation, into the work for the day. And it's actually not the work just for the day. It's a work that, it's like, another way to describe it, it's like a workshop. When you go to a workshop, you learn a whole bunch of stuff in there, and you get awarenesses and tools and ideas and stuff. And then afterwards, after the workshop, afterwards is the work that you do. That's what matters the most. And this is where a lot of people do miss. They think that the work that you did on the workshop, that's it, you're done, you're good to go. But they forget to continue doing that work afterwards, because it leads into everything else. So the spiritual awakening day, it's kind of like that crash course of a workshop that now I have the tools, the steps, the thoughts, the ideas of what's next, and sticking to it long enough to see it through.
Yeah. And it's like last week, how you came up with the spiritual awakening cycle. I love that. I use it now because I'm like, oh my God, yes, that is such a good idea.
Yeah, thank you.
Follow that. Yeah, no, honestly. And you can use it for light work and shadow work. Like, it doesn't have to be just one or the other. And I just love how it's like you're saying with the spiritual awakening day. That's wonderful. Like, it's beautiful to be able to do that, and to have the intuition to do that as well, because you're uncovering that shadow, and then you're working through it to get to the healing and recovery, to then get to that place where you're like, yeah, I got it, and then you go back down into, where do I want to work on spiritual awakening or shadow work, or do I want to do some light work now? Do I want to work on the light side? Love that.
Yeah. And using our intuition to guide us is very intuitive for all of us to do. But here's the sad part. The world we are living in, all of us are living in this world that is based on certain programs, from the way that we each spend our morning, how we drive to work, how we get to work, how the rituals that we do at work, how we operate at work, what kind of a job we do, whether we love it or hate it. Right, we all want to live life like we are never working. So finding what that is an intuitive journey as well. And most of us have been disconnected with our intuition and taught to use our head, to think about it, to think before you speak. Right there, that stops the flow to intuition. Exactly. And that was one of my limiting beliefs and assumptions as well, that I needed to think before I speak. And then once I decided I am no longer thinking before I'm speaking, because that way I will never end up going and doing a live video, because it will be a really long one. And I don't like to speak slow. So that's why it comes out really quickly.
Yeah. Well, and it's like using your intuition with it. You're feeling out how the video is going to go. And honestly, your videos, like, from my point of view watching it, I never really feel like you're talking too fast or, too slow. Like, I always feel like it's like a good speed. And I've noticed that doing live videos myself, where like afterwards, I'm like, man, I feel like I was talking too slow. And then I re-listen and I'm like, oh no, like, that was the perfect pace. That was great. Like, it was perfectly imperfect. Awesome. But I just followed my intuition and just let it flow, like you do with that as well. Yeah. Yeah.
And another little practice for intuition: card readings. Like that one, this is how I use it, and this is my simplest and fastest and easiest way to do a card reading. So to make it easy for everybody, I will pull out one of my deck of cards, the one that's closest, and which happens to be a moon card again.
Oh, nice. Ooh, I'm
So
right.
the easiest way to do to do intuition check, or to allow your intuition to guide you, is do a card reading. You can do it however you want, and if you're just beginning, I'm still fairly new at this. There's really any way that you can do it. You don't have to separate it by piles. You can just keep it on one pile. You can just really pull out a card from the middle, and really, before you pull out a card, that's where the card resisting to come, because I didn't even ask the question, and I'm already pulling out the card. You gotta ask the question to your cards.
Yeah.
And the question needs to be fairly simple. I tend to ask, what is it that I need to hear today, or focus on today? What do I need to know today? Right? Or you can ask about your past, and then when you pull out the card, however you want, like I said, pull out the card from the middle, right? And this will be the card. And then you
moon, unleash your kindest self.
Right? So, and there's actually two cards. See, sometimes you pull out one card and it's like, nope, you need to know two.
Release control. Oh my, I gotta tell you how these like align? Like, I feel like you did a reading for me right now.
So, there you go. For me, it's like, let's get the cards, the one that's closest. Yeah. Oh my God, it happens to be the moon one. Both of us are wearing moon shirts in a way. We're already kind of like, we talk about this every time before the podcast, how we dressed even the same way, because we already so in tune with one another. And so these cards, so next thing, let me open these cards. And like, I don't even know how many times I've looked through this book. Not that many. First quarter moon in Taurus, fourth quarter moon in Leo, Cancer, Aries, Taurus. So this is the release control, and intuitively you'll know exactly what you need to hear from this. Another way to practice intuition, and this is what by far one of my favorite ways, or open a book to a random page, and it's like, please tell me, or guide me to what I need to hear today, and just open it and start reading from wherever it is that you need to read with this card. So now, Bethany, that you mentioned that these are like, oh my God, these are like on point. I feel like you're not the only one. This is my intuition telling you, you're not the only one that really, it's like, just shut up, stop talking. I hear you. And tell me what these damn cards mean already. Okay?
No, what I was thinking is, because these are some of the things like I've called in for the new moon intentions. It's to control only myself. So when you pull that release control, I was just like, oh my goodness, and unleash your kindest self. Like, I strive to spread more kindness and like love and compassion and understanding. And so it was just like, oh my goodness, like this is so awesome. So wow. And
it's aligning, right?
It's a reminder, it's showing me I'm on the right path. It's my intuition being like, hey. and
it's interesting that they're both first quarter moon and first quarter moon, both cards, and are in the first quarter moon, which is going to be next stage, right?
Yeah, it's next week. That's when the first quarter moon is when you take action and you like are working towards your steps of growing your intention and growing your seed that you planted. Yeah.
So here are your seeds. Okay. First quarter moon in Taurus. That's the card that was in the back. Right, the card that I'm coming with you. We need to come out together. It's not just one card. What is your life? What in your life are you trying just a bit too hard to do? What are you absolutely stuck on to the point where you won't even entertain other ideas? The word uncoachable comes to mind. You need to release your grip on life, whatever you want, release it to the universe and trust that the universe will come back to you with whatever it is your highest good, whatever for your highest good. If you're feeling possessive about someone or something, your challenge now is to live and let live. In a financial situation, self-worth is the key. Avoid getting rich quick schemes. And the first intuitive thought that comes to mind is we are living in really incredibly straining financial times for many, many, many people. And a lot of people are trying to jump on the get rich quick schemes, and they're schemes for a reason, right? Some of these things, they do work. You just need to make sure you're doing your research. There are legitimate opportunities and companies out there, and this is what it's already telling you. Avoid getting rich quick schemes. Just do your education. Manifesting mix. This card brings in a steadfast energy, but it's clashing with another energy that wants to be free. Cede, control for best results. I don't know what the cede means. It's CEDE, control for best result.
I'm not sure.
Might have to Google that. English
Right.
is not my first language, but it is my favorite.
Right.
Manifesting mindset. Realize that even though you can manifest your life to a great extent, you can't control everything all the time. Karma comes into play, as do your deep down beliefs about yourself. So your deep down beliefs about yourself are in play here, just like karma. Tune in to your manifesting powers. The energies of this root chakra will help you to feel safer and more grounded with your basic needs looked after. So in other words, look after your basic needs first. This chakra is located at the base of your spine, and its color is glowing red. So I guess start with your root chakra. Yeah, your root chakra. You gotta start at the root, guys. First order, release control, start at the root. Your identity resides there as well. Hold this card to the base of your spine and imagine yourself bathed in a column of healing red light. Then incantate these words. So I'm not gonna give you the card to hold. So I want you to take a look at this card and have it in your mind's eye. Okay, you see it?
And it's a I just noticed it was Taurus too.
Yeah.
Holy, that's my sign. This is amazing. I'm so happy because it's the calling for it for me is control only myself. Go with the flow. Yeah. You know, like you either.
So now this is what I want you with this little book wants you to incant these words. Energies of the first quarter moon in Taurus. Thank you for showing me that all my needs are taken care of. And I'm saying it slowly on purpose. I'm going to say it again a little bit faster. Energies of the first quarter moon in Taurus. Thank you for showing me that all of my needs are taken care of. Just reminding yourself that all of your needs are taken care of. I personally like to add things even to the recipes I cook. So this is a recipe in my mind's eye. And adding to this chant, I am safe. I am safe and secure. Because a lot of our safety right now feels invaded and we don't feel safe. So reminding ourselves that we are safe, that we are okay, that we are alive, we are here is important. So next.
Yeah, another one, I belong. That's one that I like to do. Yeah, I belong, or I got this. Like
belonging is a huge, because a lot of people don't feel like they belong until they find a community, so to speak. where they
Yeah.
belong. And I want, and another thing I've also just become really aware of is a lot of people don't have too many friends, that they feel really lonely and they feel like they don't belong. If you are that individual, we really invite you into our Empathy Unicorn Academy Facebook group and grow with us. You are not alone. Like, the sense of belonging is huge for all of us. And it's a sense of belonging we all find that in the community. So if it's not this community, not Empathy Unicorn Academy community, I highly encourage you to find a community. It could be a gaming community for your favorite games, just a community where people are talking about the things that you love and enjoy talking and learning about.
Yeah. And from personal experience, I can vouch for that. Yes, do that. Because there was a time that I felt that way. I didn't belong. I just felt so small and like a victim. And then I got into a community that made me feel like I belonged. And then I felt more belonging with my home and my family. And, you know, I was able, because I knew I belonged with my family and everything, but I didn't have friends. And friends have girl time or guy time, you know, if you're a guy. So important, because it strengthens your well-being. Definitely.
And it reminds you, like, because another thing that you can add to this chant that I would is I am lovable. Like, lovable. Because even during these guy time, girl times, this hangout times, this chill times, you know, changing the lingos with the 22nd year, 2022, right?
Yeah.
Keeping with the lingo. I'm not going to be keeping up with the lingo because the kids are just, it's always changing. I know our parents try to, and it just, let's not.
Yeah.
But when you hang out with your people, you feel loved, and it reminds you that you are loved. And if you're hanging out with people and you don't feel that, get rid of those people, right? Just because somebody sends you a message does not mean you actually have to respond.
Right.
Just because somebody wants to hang out with you and you no longer want to hang out with them does not mean you have to go and hang out. Boundaries, guys. It's all about boundaries. That is in the works as well. We're going to be talking a lot about boundaries.
Very important.
But just planting little seeds for the new moon.
Yeah. Getting it ready. You know.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this next card, the last card, first quarter moon in Capricorn. Those of you that want to take a little mental image or a screenshot or whatever you want to take of it.
It's interesting how they're both for first quarter moon too.
Yeah, that's what I said too. I'm like, they're both for like the beginning. That these are the two seeds that I feel like quite a few people have planted. I know.
Right.
I have. You just said you did.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's what I like. Coming from that, you could totally set your intentions from that. If that resonated with you, you could today be like, okay, this is what I'm going to plant. This is my intention for this moon cycle. This is my intention. You know, yeah. Oh,
yeah.
awesome.
So and also it doesn't have to be both, because some people might feel a little overwhelmed. Oh my God, that's a lot. I don't have time for that. That's another thing that I can help you through if you want to work with me when it comes to those debilitating thoughts.
Yeah.
But you're more than capable of doing both. But if you're not there yet, just pick one, and whichever one that feels the most comfortable for you, the one that you feel called to, that's the one you want to focus on more. So here's this one. Unleash your kindest self. Are you being too hard on yourself or someone else? Do you think you need to be strict with yourself or other people to get where you want to go? Your challenge now is to be disciplined in terms of doing what needs to be done to get what you want without sucking all the joy out of it. In other words, do the things that bring the joy.
Yeah.
And guys, right now, I just got off a webinar call, and we were talking about calendars and how life-sucking calendars are. And if you go to your calendar and you feel drained, whatever you have scheduled on there, get that out. I know some of you, you have a full-time job and you simply cannot. So in that case, reframe it, find a way that you can frame it in your mind that it actually does bring you joy, but your calendar needs to bring you joy. Your daily routine needs to bring you joy. Your schedule needs to bring you joy. And whatever it is that you are doing. So I'll give you an example of becoming a millionaire. A lot of people are wanting to create and build a million or billion-dollar business. So looking at the people out there that are doing it, you're following their journeys, you're learning what they're doing and here's the thing, none of us really want to follow the exact same journey of becoming a millionaire that somebody else did. And I want you to find the one that resonates with you the most. And it starts with your routine, it starts with your schedule, it starts with everything that you're doing. You got to figure out what aligns with you. What journey do you want to wake up on every single day that will bring you closer to your destination of that business, of that endeavor that you are after? Because you're not after the thing. And that's where people lose it the most. This is why there's so many failed attempts of entrepreneurs out there, is because they are missing the point. The point is, enjoy the fucking journey. And if you're not enjoying the journey, change the journey. You are the creator of your own journey. So figure out, pardon my language, but I need to be rude about this because this is how I talk to myself. It's like, just for fuck's sakes, figure out what is it that you want to do every day. And if it's not talking to people, then don't talk to people. If it is talk to people, what time of the day is it that you feel the most energized to talk to people? Because for me, some mornings it's in the morning, some days it's in the morning, some days it's in the evening. So figure out intuitively, use your intuition for this shit.
Yeah,
Right?
exactly.
Use my own language. And intuitively figure out, what do you want to do every single day? And how can you make money doing that?
Right. And today being a new moon, when you plant those seeds in intention, amazing day to put that into practice. Definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So let's go with the rest of what it says here after my little, this is like my little intuitive flow and spiel of whatever I feel like needs to come through. I feel like, I know all of us are channels. And we just channel the information that needs to be heard. So whatever that came through, you guys needed to hear it. I know I did, and I can tell Bethany needed to hear it because all I see is, yep.
It's an amazing like reminder, and like it was just synchronicity, and it was just like, oh, just like these cards, like it's amazing.
Yeah. So I'll reread that last sentence that led into the spiel. Your challenge now is to be disciplined in the terms of doing what needs to be done to get what you want without sucking all the joy out of it. So now hopefully you were able to connect the dots while that spiel ran through me. So yeah, and that was free, by the way. I'm not charging you guys, so you're welcome.
It's a golden nugget.
Yeah, this is the stuff that my clients pay good money for. So feeling good about life is one of the most powerful tools you have when it comes to manifesting. If you don't feel good, you ain't gonna manifest shit.
Exactly.
Period. So be kind and be your most charming self. So you guys got my charming self with the beautiful words that I've used in my language. that's my most true self. Painting beautiful picture with language. Manifesting mix. It's good to be realistic, but you don't want to have the stretch of reality so far up your nose that you can no longer smell life's perfumes.
Balance. That's what kind of comes to me. Have that balance.
Yeah. So in other words, get out of your head more, because we're all, let's be logical about this. Let's be realistic, guys. And we allow our logic to take over. And again, going back to what we were talking about before, this is the programming. We were all taught to get in your head and stay out of your heart, stay out of your gut, stay out of your spleen, stay out of your liver, wherever your intuition is, stay out of your organs. And the only organ you need to focus on is your brain, right?
Right.
Come on. Like and even the 7 chakras, we all know it's not just the 7. There's like, they're all over our bodies. Like we got chakras in our fingertips. And that's just like the really really detailed chakra stuff that I looked at. I'm like, nope, thank you. Let's close that. Right. That was enough for me. Manifesting mindset. Butting heads with others just wears you out in the end. So get into the right mindset of manifesting by deciding you're no longer going to take the bait or provoke a situation.
Yeah.
So good. What's the I just had it on the tip of my tongue. This phrase, I don't have to attend every argument I'm invited to.
No.
Another one, I don't have to win every battle. Right? I'm not meant to win every battle. I don't have to win every war. Not every battle needs to turn into a war.
Yeah.
So those, and then the last part, tune into your manifesting powers. The solar plexus chakra is your center of courage and confidence. This energy can restore vitality and help you to feel brighter and more secure. Visualize yourself in a column of shimmering yellow sunlight. Hold the card to your solar plexus and call in the energies by repeating this version of Louise Hay's famous affirmation. Energies of the first quarter moon in Capricorn. Thank you for reminding me that I am a loving child of the universe. I'll read it again. Energies of the first quarter moon in Capricorn. Thank you for reminding me that I am a loving child of the universe. And
that's beautiful.
Instead of having a card, right? I showed the card, I'll show it again. You can visualize this card or have a fist, because the fist is almost like the same shape of the moon, as I find.
Right. Yeah.
Put it on, right? This is the solar plexus.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Right. Yep. Yeah. Your solar plexus close to your diaphragm, and like your sacral chakra is down like more back.
That's where my intuition resides.
Yeah.
So my gut feeling is in there, and it shoots right into the heart.
Yeah, mine is my heart and my gut. Those are the two places. Like when I'm really on to an intuitive hit, like those are like woo, like both like going crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the two centers that they kind of communicate. One is the intuition, and the other one is kind of like the translator for it. So for me, it's my my spleen and my second chakra.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah. And it's interesting how it's different for everyone. So I have something that I do that's different than cards, but I kind of do it with my intuition. And I do it every day, every morning, instead of pulling a card. So I have 2 dice. They're 1 through 6, just regular dice. And I roll the dice. Today's number was 6. I got 2 3s, a 3 and a 3, and then to make it a 6. So what I do is after the number appears, I look up each number that's on the dice. So it was 2 3s. And then I look up the whole number. And I look up like, what does that number mean? What is the angel number? And then, so today it was guidance, expression for number 3, and then balance and restoration for 6.
Mm-hmm.
And it was really aligning with today, because it's like today is a big expression day, and we're talking about intuition, and that's your guidance, and we're talking about balance and like restoration as well. So it really aligns, but that's what I do each day. And I get my numbers and I'm like, all right, this is what the universe is telling me about my day. Sometimes it kind of show if I need encouragement, it's like, oh, nice. Okay. Like yesterday I got 2 5s and I got a 10. And that was all about guidance, or looking at today. That was all about intuition and power, transformation and change. And it was just like, yesterday was reflection talk, and I talked about intuition and, with all these new things that we're bringing into our life, change and transformation, and we're really stepping into our power. So that's another thing. If you don't have like cards, you could use numbers as well, because numbers have meanings too.
Honestly, like we can literally use anything. You go for a walk, you see a shape in the snow or in the clouds or in the dog's urine. I mean, you go wild. You find a feather of a unique color, you go look up the meaning of it. And like intuitively, this is where you get to practice your intuition. Intuitively, try to feel, because intuition is more of a feeling, right? Try to feel what the message is behind what you have just saw, right? Feel what it is, and then go look it up. Go to Google if you still trust Google. If you want more information, depending on what you do searches on, but go to other alternative searches like DuckDuckGo, and go look up what it actually means, right? Sometimes you might see numbers. If you see repetitive numbers on the clock, my husband, he goes, "What did you do to my kids?" They'll see numbers like 222, repetitive numbers. Oh, look, it's 444, right? Or 1111 and 3 4s, and they'll run and they will tell me these numbers. And then we'll go and we'll look at what that means.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
like intuitively, we also forget to check the signs and connect with the signs that we are seeing. Like right now, look at the time, and it was 222, and it just switched because I was like, you're on the right path. For me, when I see repetitive numbers, it means like a reminder that I'm on the right path. And certain numbers mean certain paths. And especially when I see 1 2 3 4, is I am taking the right steps in the right direction and at my own pace. Like reminder of not rushing it and not comparing myself to somebody else that started the same journey at the same time as me and they might be like miles ahead. But just because they're miles ahead now does not mean that I won't surpass them, right? Because that's the judgment that really we are basing, that I can never catch up, judging our abilities that we'll never get there. And here's the thing, we can't even compare because they're in an entirely different world, they have an entirely different journey, they're doing different things, they're different.
Yeah.
They're it's like they're entirely a different book, a book on spirituality, and I'm a book on spirituality and they're a book on, I don't know, narcissism, for example. You know what I mean? It's like the opposites, different worlds. Empath and narcissist, that could be the world that they're living in and I'm not.
Right.
um
Yeah.
so yeah.
I had a thought that came to mind, and so like when you're talking about comparing, like what I like to do is, if I really want to compare myself to someone, I compare myself to yesterday or an hour ago or 5 hours ago, whatever. Like I look at myself to compare instead of comparing to others, because sometimes we have that desire to compare. Okay, well, I'm going to compare myself. How was I yesterday? And how I compare myself is I go to my journal. So I write everything down and I'm looking through and I'm like, okay, oh, well, looks like I'm on the right path here. So yeah, compare yourself to yourself, but it's better to not to compare at all.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
looking, when we compare ourselves to ourselves, we're really just looking at our progress, where we were and where we are now, how the kind of thinking that we had then, what kind of thinking we have now, how we're living life then and how we're living life now, what has
Right.
changed, what's different, right? We're still going to judge things because we're living in a world that's very polar, like good, bad, the really just the good and bad. And then the black and white, and forget that there's a lot of different shades of gray in between, but the world is like, is it good or is it bad? Is it yin or is it yang? So we do judge ourselves that way as well. Did I do good today or not? Did I do better today than yesterday? Right. I've been working on not judging myself on, did I do good today or did I do bad today? Because then that determines, like, was this a good day? Was this a bad day? Every day is supposed to be a good day. So instead of that, what did I do better on today? So I'm just really focusing on the good things. And here's another reason why. We've heard of the experiments of the snowflake experiment, the water experiment, where you talk, the plant experiment, where you talk to the water and then you freeze and you look at the shapes and it's different. The plants, those that you talk harshly to, they die, and those that you talk good to, they live. Now, the world that we're living in right now, there's a lot of fear, and this is where a lot of us are feeling like we're withering, that we're slowly dying. And here's the reason why communities are so important. And we need the communities that will fire us up. And this is Empathy Academy is this. We uplift one another. There is no bad mouth, and there is no jabbing of any sorts towards anyone. And if anybody feels that way, conversation can be had. We haven't had any of that happen yet. But I'm going to use an example of a tribe that exists out there. And this is the vision that we see for Empathy Academy. So the tribe does this. When somebody in the tribe makes a mistake, what the whole entire tribe does is they bring this individual in the center of everyone, and everyone gathers around this individual. And what they do is they say everything that this person has done that is good, that they have achieved, that they have accomplished, and they raise this person up. Like, just to think about it, when somebody makes a mistake, what do most people do? What do even parents do when a child makes a mistake? Those are the things that people do growing up. You get punished for it. You get shamed for it. You get embarrassed. Your nose is put in that shit. You're constantly reminded of it, and it stays with you, and it really brings you down. It breaks you down. And instead, what we're supposed to be doing is we're supposed to be celebrating our mistakes.
Yeah.
We're living in an upside down world, because those mistakes, this, Bethany, already. This is the stuff that we went through in coaching as well. That our mistakes are not mistakes at all. They are gifts. We learn so much. And what happens when you're showered with love and admiration and the sheer fact that people are paying attention to the good that you have done? And when you feel like shit, they are vomiting all the goodness on you. And that stuff, like, we don't allow that in. And I noticed that with my clients in coaching. I remember you going through this as well, Bethany. Right. Acknowledging your mistakes, and most importantly, acknowledging and not just acknowledging, but celebrating the mistakes, celebrating their little tiny achievements. Some of you saw me congratulate myself on coming up with, the little cycle. Spiritual awakening. Right? We're not taught to do these things, because some of you might have thought, oh my God, she's so cocky, she's so arrogant. I started labeling what I was doing in my own celebration. And we do this ourselves. We don't even recognize that we do this, because this is the program that we have been given. Whereas other tribes, they have created their own program because they have intuitively paid attention to what works. And we have moved away from intuition, because our intuition is when a child cries, to soothe them. But we've been taught, stop your crying, man up, toughen up. The world is harsh, so you need to be harsher than the world. What are we teaching our kids? Right. What kind of world are they going to be living in? It's going to be a harsh world that's full of bullies on this infinite web. You post something that is, supposed to be powerful, and some troll finds a way to ruin it.
Right. Tries to take away your power.
Exactly. And then people just go and hide in their shell. We all become hermits.
Right.
But not a bad thing. A hermit is a great thing. I'm a hermit by nature.
Love being a hermit, but I also, it's not a bad thing at all. Something I wanted to bring in with the mistakes before we get off topic is how you're saying, I used to, with working through mistakes, and that was a huge thing because I would be very hard on myself and punish myself. But then I reframed it to mistakes are lessons. Mistakes help you learn. And that helped reframe my mind to where I was like, oh, I can grow from this and I can celebrate myself, because I'll do the same thing as you, like pat myself on the back, give myself a big hug, be like, good job, Bethany, you did great. And someone looks at me weird, I'm like, what? Like, why don't you try it? Might feel good to you, like, and I used to go be small, like, oh, they saw me do that, oh gosh, go into that hermit. But now when I go into that hermit phase, it's because I'm usually going through a spiritual awakening, like it's a spiritual awakening time. I'm doing shadow work, or it's really, because when I go within, it's shadow work. Light work is more when I go outward. But I've done light work inwardly too. But anyways, that's besides the point. So it's like during those shadow times, but I love being at home. I love it. Some people aren't like that. Like, I need to travel. I need to go here. I need to go there. I need to do all this. And I'm just like, I'm just enjoying the journey, and I'm enjoying my time in my home and with my family here, building those memories. And, you can build those memories other places, but at home, it's just so much more relaxed. And there's not that, you don't have to worry about judgment necessarily. So it's your family. There might be some judgment, but usually it's not as much judgment as like a stranger, someone out in public.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. Right. And even with judgment, we can also use our intuition to feel that judgment and sense who is judging us. And then eventually, when you start thinking enough, you can feel and sense what kind of judgment some people are passing on you. So I've gotten quite good at this one, because I've been listening to the things that people would say to me and the judgments that they would use. But I've also learned not to allow that judgment in a negative way and really get excited about it. Because it really just shows me and reminds me that nobody will ever, 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 ever know who I truly am, no matter how much they try, ever. The way that there are people who can get close to, like, how would Yana think and how would Yana do things? Guaranteed, Bethany, you're on that list. Right, our choice of clothes quite often says that as well. But we've spent like a shit ton of time together, right? And neither one of us holds anything back that we want to say. We're just very, very open, and not very many people get to say that, or have someone who can be like, who can almost like read you like a book. But even then, there's still going to be things that you probably never guess about me, right?
Yeah.
And vice versa, right? Because there's certain things that it's not that we don't bring them up or talk about them. It's just that there's no need for it. And those are the conversations we'll have with somebody else, right? And everyone knows us based on who they believe we are. And here's like a maze of a thought. If we lived our life the way that we believe and think that people see how we live our life, how people view us, and how they believe that we live our life, we would not be happy.
Right.
Because like, if I try to live a life how Bethany believes that how I'm thinking and living my life, I would not be happy, because I would not be living my life. I would be living a life of Bethany's perception.
Right, right.
Right. And we do that very often. And most people, everyone does this. Okay. But most people do it unconsciously, because this is just how we are. We communicate with people a little bit differently based on who they believe we are, and who in a way that we want them to believe that we are.
Mhm.
But our true self doesn't always come out.
Right.
Right. My true self is a teacher and a preacher. So this is my true self.
Hey,
My husband was like, "Oh my God, just stop talking. I need some alone time." And I'm like, "Okay, got it. Okay, got it. Let's go." Because, and here's the thing, some of you might be like, "Oh my God, your husband says that to you? Like, that's offensive. Should he needs alone time? How dare he?" Yes, he does need alone time. We all need our alone time. It's like, for men, they need to what is it? They need to recharge their testosterone, right?
yeah.
For us, we need to recharge the testosterone and estrogens. We need to rebalance. We need to go in with, we all need our alone time,
Yeah,
right?
it's important.
And sometimes it's not just like, sometimes it's 10 minutes, sometimes it's an hour, sometimes it's the whole entire evening, and sometimes it might be the weekend, and that's fine. And I want everyone to tune into themselves and use their intuition, and listen to it. And when the intuition is telling you go be alone, you go be alone unapologetically, and set that boundary with people in your life, that if you are going to your office and the lights are off, do not come in, do not bother, because this is my alone time. This is me time. And I allow everyone in this household to do the same thing,
Yeah.
right? Um, for men, it's often either watching a show or listening to music or doing, I mean, for women, the same thing.
Right. It's
Whether it's a show or doing something with your hands or playing a game, listening to something, just sitting still and going like, whatever it is that you want to do. Like what I just did, it like this is
yeah.
just like relaxing your face. That's what I'm trying to say with my face, is that sometimes we just want to like relax all the muscles on our face and like go like
Mhm.
like this, right? Or tighten the face or whatever it is. Intuitively tune in to whatever it is. Now I'm like, that whatever it is like, there's so many different things.
Oh yeah. And it's different for everyone. So it's hard to like put like a thing, like, to do specific things. So yeah, what you said, just like listen, go within what you're saying. That's really all you can do. You got to figure out what's your intuition. What is it trying to tell you? And that's something only you can do. Like I can't go to you and be like, okay, your intuition is telling you to do this. Like that's not possible.
Yeah, because
And
that'd be your
maybe
intuition.
right, or maybe my intuition picked up on something and it needed to tell you, and you're like, wait a minute. Yeah, I mean, there could be aligning stuff that way, but when you work on your intuition for yourself, those things will come out naturally, I feel like, as well, with other people that you pick up on.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now that we're getting way past our time, um, I feel like our time kind of has naturally shifted for an hour podcast and then half an hour of the girl time.
Yeah,
But
I like,
yes,
yeah.
it works for me. But that's a conversation that we can have on our own and see if we want to stick with that time or how we want to go about it going forward. Because there's always like so much information that we bring through, and some things like none of these calls are planned. The only thing that is planned is the actual topic of what we're going to be talking about and kind of like the gist of it, and maybe like a few things that came to us right before or during, and then we
Yeah.
just jot them down and share them, and that's it, right? That's why like this card reading, that was just like, oh,
Yeah.
and then
It just went with it. Yeah.
exactly,
It'll use our intuition. That's what we do with these calls. We just let our intuition flow.
yeah, and then there's always so much that comes through. It's like, oh, there you go, free information for you guys. Go use it.
Right.
Do what you want with it. But at the end of the day, don't waste it. Do something with it. So, quotes,
Yes.
poet.
Yep. So here it goes. Take a deep listen to within. What is your intuition trying to tell you? Stillness and silence can help you unlock this ability. Anything is possible. Trust and believe.
Yeah. Sitting in silence doesn't necessarily mean meditation. It's just sitting and accepting your feelings and your emotions and your thoughts, whether they're rational or irrational. Every irrational thought is still a rational thought, and it makes sense, and it's completely normal. So if you think yourself crazy, you are, right? Because you've had crazy ideas, you've had awesome ideas, and crazy does not need to be a bad word. It's just, somebody at some point decided that's going to be a bad word, and that's it. Weird is also another bad word. So words, they do have meanings, but the meanings that they have, you can mold them, you can rephrase them in the way that works for you, that makes sense to you. And I feel like even dictionary would be still fairly close to the meanings that you would give those words, right?
Yeah.
Like definition of success is a little bit different for everyone. Just because there's a dictionary for it and that's what success actually means, we each have our own definition of success and what success means to us. And most importantly, not what it means to us, but what it feels to us. Because success is a feeling. It is not a thing, a physical thing out there. It is a feeling, because many people initially say, to me, success will be $1 million, and then they feel success way before they even get to there, way before they make $1. You know what I mean? So defining or redefining what some of these words mean to you that come to you intuitively, write them down.
Yeah.
Write them down.
And that's like with the stuff with my reflection talk that I post in the group here. That's kind of what I do. I pick a word and I put down what it means to me. And then I prompt everyone to write down what it means to you. And it might be different, and it might help you grow and learn something new about a certain word that you're like, oh, I didn't know that's what the possible meaning could be, So that's why I enjoy doing that.
Yeah. It's so kind of like also makes me think of play on words. It's a little game that you can play for yourself. If you want to share that with others, go right ahead and do it. If you want to share this video with others, go right ahead and do it. We'll really appreciate that. It'll just encourage us to bring better content. I mean, can the content get better? Yes, it can. It can always get better. It definitely can always get better. Anything can get better, because everything is about improvement, right? Even and I'm just thinking even of a lake, that if a lake does not have any movement in there, eventually it will become a swamp. That even lake has new ways of moving, even though they're kind of the same ways, the same waves, the same way of moving, but it's a new way, new life, new things are always in there. There's always, spring comes, there's gonna be new life in there, right? There's always that balance. So anyways, that's it. before we get into another conversation or another topic,
Right.
since we're like experts at that. I just wanted to say thank you, everybody, and especially Bethany for bringing this topic today for all of us to talk and discuss and strengthen this gift that everyone is born with, and put more value onto the things that we are born with, gifts that we're born with, instead of putting value outside of ourselves and things that we are not born with. And why not? Why not focus on the things that we already have instead of looking elsewhere, looking for other things? Because in the end, the search always leads back to what's already within us. It always leads back to everything that we already have. Everything that we want to have and acquire, we already have. We just need to develop it more. Develop the skill of intuition. That's it. Right? It's also trusting yourself and knowing yourself more. That's where intuition is as well, and it helps with that. So other than that, until next week, thank you everybody for watching. Like what you see, make sure you join the group, subscribe to the YouTube channel, find our socials on all of your favorite social platforms. It's always down below in the video and the YouTube videos that once we upload them. Connect with us, connect with the community, with the tribe of like-minded women in there, and experience yourself grow and transform.
Well, thank you so much. I enjoyed this chat, and exactly, grow, transform, expand, be the best version of yourself that you can be for today, and then work on next day, but today is what matters the most in the moment. So thank you, sending you all love, and until next week.
Bye everybody. Bye Bethany.